hour. And then for those of you that are not on payroll, we're going to complete some of the stuff that we need to for your payroll stuff. So nights of training, everything's going to start out here in this classroom. So if you were here, you're in the right spot. Thankfully, there's more than 5 of you than we had last year. Bruce knows that from all too well experience. Last year we had 12 total officials, and 3 of them quit during the year. So I had like 8 or 9 officials total. So this is good. But here are the training dates, and then our practice games are 5:30 to 11:30 next Monday. And we will pick a time, either Wednesday or Thursday. You'll shoot me an email with what you need. So as I said, I'm one of the coordinators. Danny, who just popped his head in, he's the other coordinator of competitive sports. He's actually leading tomorrow night's training. And then Ryan Himes, our graduate assistant, I believe is in class. Jessica Day is one of our program assistants. And Alyssa Henyes, did I say her last name right, Henyes? She's the other program assistant, and she works primarily with the clubs. So those are the people that will be helping out with training, as well as some of our other people. I put these pictures up here. Tim McNeely is our director. You won't see him a whole lot, but he does come out occasionally. David Parker is our associate director of our programs. He oversees competitive sports as well as the adventure programs. He pops his head in every once in a while. And then Zach Gilbert's my boss right now. He's currently out working with Unified Sports. So you'll see him probably every Monday, Tuesday night. Here are some of my expectations. The first one is to be on time to your shift. Because if you can't be on time to your shift, we can't start games right away. I can tell you, for flag football, we're running 2 20-minute halves, and it usually runs a little bit late. So if you're working flag football, the shifts usually run 5 or 10 minutes behind because we can't catch that time up. So please be on time. I like you to be a little bit earlier. Be an appropriate attire when necessary. If you have worked for me or are currently working for me, that attire is black shorts, white, black, or gray undershirt, and cleats if you have them. I'll give you the whistle. You need to bring it with you every time. I give you the flags, the bean bags, the down indicator, the stopwatch. I take care of all of that. But just make sure you bring your flag, black shorts, or pants if it gets cool enough. And if you have cleats, I strongly recommend cleats. Know the rules. Can't stress that enough if you're going to be an official. I will tell you, I stand in front of the room. My high school did not have flag football, or did not have football. I grew up in a small town. Friday nights, they played soccer. I played golf. We watched soccer games on Friday night. So if I can know the rules, so can you. It took me a little bit, but you just have to apply yourself. We will go through as much of it as we can and as thoroughly as we can. Work as a team on and off the field. So if somebody needs a shift to pick up and you're available, please pick it up. If somebody needs some help out there, please help them out. What I don't want you to do, and as I told the other 2 trainings, is if your partner screws up, don't be that person that's in the backfield or on the other side of the field going, yeah, they suck. That was a terrible call. That doesn't build crew credibility. I've had people do it to me. I have not done it to somebody else. I try not to if I can best help it. And then I need you to hustle all the time. Your shifts are going to be between 2 hours and 25 minutes and 3 hours and 25 minutes. So the best thing I can ask you to do is to hustle for that time. As I've told the other ones, I'm paying you to run up and down a field and to watch and officiate a sport that you enjoy. Your schedule's on Do Sports Easy, so if you've worked for me, you can kind of see how this works again. If you have any questions or anything that I may have missed, please add, because I don't see your side of Do Sports Easy all that often. So it can be found on the Campus Director website. You're in charge of updating your availability. Come on in, have a seat. Your schedule comes out every Friday. I try to get it done on Thursday. It's a combination of Jessica and I putting the shifts up and then us scheduling it. You're not the only ones that work for me. I've got outdoor soccer, I've got sand volleyball, we've got evaluators, we've got supervisors, we've got office, we've got all these people that we have to schedule. So you're not the only ones that we work with. If it's not out by Friday at 2 o'clock, start getting worried. Either you're not in Do Sports Easy or I haven't sent it. Do you get an email notification when the schedule gets published or shifts published? So if you get shifts published to you, you get an email notification saying, here's what you're working. It's going to your UNCW email account. So if you don't use that or you have it forwarded, make sure you update and check that one as much as you can. Our schedule covers Monday to Sunday. Right now, it looks like we're only going to work Monday to Thursday. So you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Keep your Sunday availability up to date, because if we get rain, or another hurricane comes through and we have to reschedule stuff for Sundays, we're absolutely going to do that. So you have to keep that up to date. Games for flag football are played from 6 to probably 10:15, not so late till 11. But if we need to go late, we go late. And if you have changes in your availability, they must be done by Monday at 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Do we submit our availability to you?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go how you do that here on Do Sports Easy here in just a minute. So you're like 4 slides ahead of me, and I'll show you how you're going to do that. But you have to have this done by Monday at 5. Realistically, I don't get to the schedule till Thursday. So if you change your availability Tuesday, Wednesday, that's fine. But if I have you on a schedule and then you change your availability, that's going to be on you. You're going to be responsible for that shift. All right, so here's where you find it. You go to the Campus Rec main page. I can tell you this is the old page. They've actually got a new landing page. But this hasn't changed. It's still under team member links. That's you. You have a job. If you're not even on payroll, if you're like, hey, I'm not really sure, you have a job with me. So you go under Do Sports Easy. The first thing that comes up is your login. It is your UNCW credentials. So what's your login information, or your username?
JPD666.
Yeah, without the UNCW.edu. Mine's RampEA, without the at UNCW. Put your password in here. It's your current password that you log in on everything. Comes up to a page like this. I'm going to give a shout out to whoever did sand volleyball and soccer. I have yet to have somebody not complete this semester. If you don't complete this, I can't schedule you. So shout out to everybody who's worked sand volleyball and soccer or is on Do Sports Easy. You all did it. Last year they sucked at it. This year you all doing a good job. So please make sure you fill this out, because if you don't, I can't even schedule you. So there's my information. This is your next page. Comes up to here. You have my shifts, my jobs, my availability, trade center, and my info. So we're going to go through each one of those. So your availability, what you were talking about right here. You can go in, when you have my availability, you can click and highlight different things that you cannot work. I'll tell you what, when you do this, it'll say unavailable or preferred. I don't do preferred. I can tell you that right now. You just put in unavailable. Because there's going to be so many of you working each night of the week, I'm not even looking at preferred. I'm looking at who's available, who's not. If you're in red, I shouldn't put you in there. If you have green, go ahead and paint it green. I don't care. Prefer every night of the week. You'll get something scheduled. But you go in here, you click unavailable, and you put your dates and times. Now you can do, how do you do scheduling that's not every week? Isn't there a tab up here that has something different? Exclusions, thank you. You click on exclusions, and then you add that one day. So if you have a common chem test, or you have that meeting that happens every other week, click the exclusions and add that one in there. Because that common chem test, I don't want to work you that night. Unless you can rock chemistry, and then you're like, I'm going to come out and bust it on the flag football field, by all means. If you're like me, I took the entire week leading up to that chemistry test off, still probably failed the test, and then went back to work the next day. So make sure you do that, and you can do it for anything. That set's repeating, the exclusion sets the one at a time. So things that would go into the time off. Any classes, any standing meetings. If you're in a Greek organization, put that Sunday night that you can't work. If you go to church on Wednesday night, put that in there. Whatever it is, you need to put that in there. And I'll be honest, I don't care what it is. You don't have to tell me why you're asking time off. You just put it off, you don't have to work. So, when you look under my shifts, I was assigned a club training shift from 8 to noon, one day way back in the day in 2017. That's what it looks like. That's what you can see. So this will be much later, and you'll see what you have to work. I didn't know, I thought they had something to add. Here, it'll show your job rate. So if you come under here and you're like, hey, I'm a flag football official and it hasn't populated, give it a day. It usually takes 2 days to get all this populated. If you currently work outdoor soccer or sand volleyball, it should have three things. It should say training, sand volleyball, and outdoor soccer. And then starting on Thursday, it's going to have a new one saying flag football. Come on in, have a seat. So you should have 3 of them up there. And then it'll tell you your pay rate. Your pay rate for training, for sitting in here and listening to me talk and listening to my supervisors talk, is $7.25. Yes, you get paid for today, tomorrow, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday. Those will be paid at the end. Once you get on payroll, I pay those probably If I can get everybody on payroll, I'll pay them in September. If not, I'll pay them in October. The reason I can't pay you right now is because you're not all on payroll. You have to complete that process, and we'll talk about that at the end. And you make $8.50 an hour as an official. So if you ever want to know your shift information, click on it. You can see what it is. It could have field 3, field 4. It could have any other special instructions. I typically don't because I typically email you. And then if you want to submit the trade, so you want somebody else to come take your shift, click submit trade. And it says, do you want to trade this shift? You're like, yeah, maybe not, I'll keep it. If not, click yes, as they're kicking soccer balls up here. It'll go to our trade center. What that means is anybody who's eligible to work flag football can pick it up. That does not mean the shift is not yours. You still have this shift until I okay the trade. If we're working championship night and Jessica's going to come work for me, I wouldn't approve that trade. The level of experience is quite different, and she would admit to that one too. So if I don't think the trade is equal or within reason, I won't approve it. Normally if you're working with one of my supervisors and you're a brand new official, there's a reason that supervisor's on that game, you're probably not going to get their shift. Unless they have 1 or 2 other high-level officials on there, then I would accept that shift. But this is still yours until it goes away. I'm not going to do the payroll process. Come on. All right, approving payroll, that video will be sent out will be sent out next week, and I'll show you how to do that in the video. Here's our website. So as you can see, we're filming all of this. We will film tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and we will film games for you. Outdoor soccer people are getting filmed tonight for their games, and they'll get it broken down for them. All that information can be found on this website. You don't have to copy it down. I will send it to you later this week. We also have weekly emails. If you were in sand or outdoor soccer, I sent a brief one today. And then our pre-shift meetings will be videos. Unfortunately, the soccer didn't get it because we don't have any videos to put up here. So each pre-shift meeting, you'll get like a 3 to 4 minute video. It'll be sent out in the email. The supervisor should show it, you play it, you watch it, ask any questions. It basically will highlight anything that we've seen the previous week that you need to know, or the previous 2 weeks. So Google Docs weekly quizzes are up by 5 on Wednesday. We actually send them out on Monday. Jessica will do those and then send those out, and she'll grade those. Bi-weekly meetings are Wednesdays. I'm actually going to change that time to 4 o'clock. We're going to move it a little bit earlier, and they'll be in the Student Recreation Center 219. I will send reminders out for this, but this is kind of a continuing education. The first meeting for us is October 2nd, and it basically gives you a chance to come in and see some plays. We show a lot of video. We break down a lot of video to help you learn and grow. You get paid for these. I also bring in free swag. We give away shorts, we give away long sleeve pullovers, we give away book bags, some t-shirts and other items, whistles. We give away a lot. We try to give away a lot of stuff. So if you can attend those, they're going to be at 4 o'clock and 219. As we get later, we may be out here so we can go outside, but I'll let you know where they go. So if I say SRC 219, that's the rec center upstairs by the pool. If I say the recreational fields, that's out here. And you'll be with all the soccer folks as well. Your uniform, as I said, the official stripes we checked out from the supervisor, which we'll show you where that is on Monday. So all your stuff is going to be over there. And you'll put all your bags, everything you need will be over there. You will not be in this room. The stripes must be tucked in. If you work sand volleyball and or soccer for me, you know that's my pet peeve. Please tuck them in. It doesn't look professional if they're untucked. Pants or shorts should be athletic and black or dark blue. If they have the Adidas stripes down the side or a couple stripes like your shorts right there, those are fine. What you're wearing would be acceptable. And I have no problem with that. Jeans, cargo shorts, etc. is not allowed. It's athletic attire. Sorry for most of the ladies in the room, form-fitting pants and or shorts are not allowed. It's a professionalism thing. Shoes are required when you officiate. I strongly encourage cleats. Somebody asked in soccer, what if they're neon green? I don't care. You can't just wear neon green shorts though. The shoes I have no problem with. But just make sure that if you do wear cleats, you wear cleats because they're better out here than normal shoes would, because it starts getting dewy at night, you start slipping, you start falling. I want you to have good traction. Injuries. You notify a supervisor. So if somebody goes down for any kind of injury, there should be a supervisor within a field of you. So they usually are between 3 and 4. If they're not, go find them, especially if that person hobbles away. If that person can't move, just leave them there. And have somebody go get the supervisor. You are not to perform any kinds of CPR, or not CPR, any kinds of first aid, which may include CPR. You are not covered under our insurance. So Jessica's a nursing major. If she were just an official for me, she wouldn't be able to use any of that training. Yeah?
What if we were an EMT with a certification?
You're still not under our insurance. You can do with what is asked by our supervisors. Now all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose, you can do what you need to do. Because I'm the same way. When I go officiate high school basketball or baseball, my job is not covered if I perform any kind of first aid. Something happens, I look to the coach and I say, come on out. For you, it's supervisor, come on out. And if they need help, you assist them. If a player is bleeding, they must come out of the game, send the supervisor. If they're dripping blood, keep them in one spot. Why did I tell them to keep in one spot?
It's easier to disinfect in one spot than...
This pool of blood is a lot easier to disinfect than the drop here, and the sink that they're going to in the bathroom. Because there's automatic sinks in the bathroom. So please make sure that you tell them to stay in one spot. If they take the jersey and put it up to their nose because they got hit in the face with the ball, that's fine. We'll clean that later. Just tell them to keep that up to their nose. Incentive points. So you can earn incentive points for us. I'm doing a better job of tracking this semester because that's something that's important for us. So for us, you can earn these items. So championship t-shirt, logoed whistle, shirt, shorts, SOA backpack. We're also going to throw in the long sleeve stuff into this as well, which will be a little bit more. And you're not wearing your long sleeve today. But basically what it is we have Nike Under Armour shorts that you can earn. The SOA shirt's just a cotton shirt. The logoed whistle just has our logo on it. If you work a championship game, you already get a championship t-shirt. So it's kind of an incentive that you work that. And the SOA backpack is just an Adidas backpack with our logo on it. That is the hot button issue, or a hot ticket item right now that we have. Here are ways you can earn it. This is going to be on our website, and I'll also send this out periodically. Basically, you attend a bunch of stuff, work a bunch of stuff, you can get some points. And then there's some more ways. All right, these are our old supervisors, so I'm not going to go over them. Questions? Because this is last year's PowerPoint that I didn't get updated enough. You can go ahead and turn. All right, so the reason I had you do that is so you can talk to each other. Because there are times where you'll be like, I don't know what the heck just happened, but I can explain it. Hopefully you can interpret what I explained. So, some of the rules that we have. You need a UNCW ID in order to play. So, they check in with our people up front. You shouldn't have to deal with this. Illegal equipment, no hats, no jewelry. So the build hats the gentlemen in the back are wearing are illegal. You're wearing are illegal because it's got a hard bill on it. So if they have like a stocking cap or anything like that, that's fine. And they must have closed-toed shoes. They have to have athletic attire in order to play. No jeans, no khakis, no pockets. We'll talk about pockets here in a little bit. All games are played out here on 3 and 4. Here's your scorecard. It'll have the date, the time, the field, and the team already filled out. You have to put the color in because we don't determine that until they get out here. The back judge usually keeps this. As you can see, there's plenty of spots in there for score. So if they score, you circle a 6, and they have a try for 1, 2, or 3. If it's successful, put 1, 2, or 3. If it's not successful, put 0. At the end of each half, put the score here. And then put the score for the second half there, and then total at the bottom. Final score, sportsmanship rating. The back side will have the visiting team, or the other team. So you have 2 sides of that scorecard. It's imperative that you put the final score and the sportsmanship rating. I had 2 officials work this past week that put a 2 sportsmanship rating. Yeah.
So like each touchdown, they don't get the PATs so that can mark it?
Yeah, you put 6 and then 0, then 6 and then whatever it is. So these columns will line up. So I know if it's successful or not. They'd be like, yeah, we got the first 3 PATs, but not the third, and you only have 1 or whatever. That's where it becomes a problem. We'll talk about sportsmanship and what it consists of, but you need to put that in there. If you have a 2 or lower, you need to have documentation, and I'll talk about that as we go over sportsmanship. Any unsportsmanlike conducts, spiking the ball, celebrating too much, whatever it is, they get in there. They tell you to F off, they're probably going to get ejected. You put that in there. And then you put the name of each one of your partners down here. 4. What?
We're just trying to figure out how big the officiating crews were.
4. So yes, that's why I said I need like 30 people, because we work between 18 and or 8 and 16 people a night. So that's how many people could work in a given night. The mercy roll is down at the bottom, so if you ever forget, it's already listed there. You hand that to the supervisor when it's completed. The equipment, we'll go over all this over the next couple days. Pylons, cones, yards, markers. Player equipment is a shirt or under the jersey, and it must be tucked in. So if they're wearing our flag belts, their shirts have to be tucked in. They also have to have sleeves. It's a sanitary thing. So if they're like, I don't have sleeves, you ain't playing tonight. Send them to the supervisor. You don't have to deal with that. Flag belts, so there's the flag belts we have 2 flags, one on each side, one on the butt. And it has 1 clip. And that clip breaks, the entire belt falls off. If they have braces, so if they have a functional knee brace or anything like that, an ACL brace, those are legal. They come out with a metal contraption, that doesn't work. If it's for athletic, let them use it. If you're not sure, ask a supervisor. They may have a towel, but it needs to be placed next to the orange cone, and you'll see that when we go through this. If they choose not to wear, if they have pockets, shorts must not have pockets, but if they have pockets, they just don't wear a flag belt, and it's a one-hand touch from the shoulder to the knee. Any part of that gets touched by one hand or relatively close by one hand, they're down right then and there. Because they're going to argue, I didn't get touched. It sure looked like you did. That's my phone, as I'm just telling you not to have your phones on. All right, my bad. Here's what a normal field looks like. This is what we have out here. White lines all the way around. Ours is teal. This is a 1-point try at the 3-yard line, 2-point try at the 10-yard line, and a 3-point try goes from the 20. This X starts every drive without a penalty. So this is a 14-yard line, a 14X. So you go out there, you put 1 puck on it, you'll take a step, and you put the other puck. That's our field. These 2 cones will be set off by about 2 yards. And the team boxes, you'll put the goal 20, you put goal here, 20, 40, 20, and goal. These are on our white team boxes, which we'll show you later in the week. No pockets, belt loops, or exposed drawstrings. If they have any of these, they do not wear a flag belt. And we changed this rule last year. Because the problem is if you have a pocket and I go to pull your flag and my hand gets stuck in your pocket and you go that way and my body goes that way, what happens?
Broken finger.
My finger's going to get broken because it's going to go with you or get dislocated. So that's why we say if you wear pockets or if they have a hoodie on that's got a pocket in the front, that they don't wear a belt and it's one-hand touch from the shoulders to the knees. Now, a one-hand touch is like that, not like this. That's not a one-hand touch. That's a slap or a punch. That is a flag, and that person doesn't need to play for a while. So that would be unsportsmanlike conduct. But if they're going at them and they dive and they happen to get them, and it's a little harder than normal, talk to them. But it's a one-hand touch. As we said, no build hats, bandanas with notch jewelry. No jewelry, no jewelry, no jewelry. Let me rephrase that. Sorry to pick on the females. If a female comes in with a Band-Aid here, 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 and here, what do you think that is? Jewelry. I've got plenty of money to buy Band-Aids. If their cat really did attack them, tell them you need to see it. And if they're like, yep, here's one sword, here's another sword, and like, oh, your cat really got you. Go ahead and give them extra Band-Aids. They're probably going to come with them taped up and be like, it's nothing. Well, it's something, because the tape comes off, guess what? You have jewelry. The other night, we tried to practice, some kid in the practice game tried to tape down a wristband. Sorry, I don't care what kind of friendship bracelet it is. I don't care what organization you're trying to support at that time. You're not allowed to do it. The only thing we allow are medical alert bracelets. They're taped down with the information showing. I've seen it once in the 13 years. I was an undergrad, grad, and now professional. I've seen it one time. And they showed it to me. They're like, yep. And I was like, okay, you're good to go. You won't see it. No necklaces, nothing. They'll probably get creative and put gloves over them, but if they become exposed, then we have to take them off.
Also, headband would not include pre-wrap, no pre-wrap, because
So, stocking caps, as I said, are okay. Shoes with metal cleats is prohibited. That includes you. So if you're like, hey, I've got these metal spikes from football, not allowed. You talked about soccer cleats. Absolutely, bring one. That's usually what we see out here. But if you see metal tips, they're not allowed because of the wear and tear they'll put on our fields. You might think wear and tear on artificial turf. Absolutely, they'll tear that up. Players, we play 7-on-7 for men's and women's, and you must have 4 to start the game. Co-rec is played 8-on-8, 4 males, 4 females. You need a minimum of 2 of each gender, or 6 in co-rec to start a game. Or, I'm sorry, 4. We changed that. Minimum 2 to start a game. So you can tell that's if they have 2 males, 2 females, it's going to be a tough game for them. They're going to have a quarterback and 3 people running routes. Good luck. But they need a minimum of 2 of each gender to play. If they got 3 guys and 1 girl, it's no go. But if they have 2 of each, let them play. Let them get mercy ruled. We'll cover this outside more in detail, but when a coin toss, the visiting team calls heads or tails, all of you won't bring coins, so what you do is you put yourself between them and you say odd or even, 1 or 2, whatever it is, and show them the number, 1 or 2. The reason I put myself between these 2 is so that she doesn't think I'm cheating her whenever I do it. So you turn 1 or 2, he says 2. The options that he has are offense, defense, end of the field, or defer. Now, offense is pretty easy. I want the ball. Pretty easy. Here's where it gets tricky. If they choose the end of the field or they choose defense, they're not getting the ball in the second half. This isn't like Madden or anything that you play on the gaming console. So if he's like, we'll play defense. No, you want to defer your option. Because what's going to happen is you're not going to get the choice in the second half. So basically, they say it should be offense or defer. Because if he says, I want to defer, you look at her and say, you're taking the ball. She's like, no, we want to defend that side. No, you don't get the ball in the second half either. You want the ball. And they go back to him, and where do you want them to start? So it's as simple as that. You want offense or defer? I want to play defense. You're deferring your option. You want the ball? Yes. Where do you want them to start? If he says, I want the ball, where do you want them to start? It's as simple as it can be.
So if he says defer and she says defense, they still get the ball?
He would still get the ball. So that's why you talk them into what they should be. Because this team may not know they're not going to get the ball in the second half either. Like, well, he deferred, I don't want the ball. I want the ball in the second half. No, you get it now or you don't get it at all. So if he says defense, she'll say so she's automatically getting the ball and she gets to pick the side of the field. And then in the second half, we said, do you want the ball or you want to play defense? She's going to say, I want the ball. It's because they get the option of ball, defense, or side of the field in the second half.
So whoever gets the ball first half, other team gets the ball second.
That's the way you talk to him. Be like, do you want the ball now or later? I'll take it in the second half. All right, you're going to defer your option. You want the ball? Where do you start? We'll cover it again when we do pre-games, when we go out in the fields. We'll cover it a third time when we do it with the captains, so that you know. But basically, do you want the ball? Yes or no? If they say no, the other person's getting the ball and they're going to pick the end of the field. The ball starts at the 14. Games, we've changed this up. They're 2 20-minute halves. You need to convey this in your captain's meeting. We've seen that the time to flip the fields between quarters was taking too long. So we're going to play 2 20-minute halves. So you start the clock 20 minutes. We run the whole first half. No stoppages unless there's a timeout, injury, or you have to take a timeout for whatever you need to discuss. And that shouldn't be very often. Under 2 minutes, the clock will stop according to high school rules in the game. Under 2 minutes in the second half is the only time it stops. So at 2 minutes, we stop it. We give them a 2-minute warning, just like the NFL. So we stop it. That's the only high school or only college or NFL mechanic that we have is we have a 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes left in the second half, stop the clock. If the snap happens before 2 minutes, let the play end, then hit stop and tell your referee. And then we play it just like you would stopping and starting the clock normally. So if we get a first down, inbounds, we kill the clock, set the pucks, the referee will roll it. And then we go with that. 3-minute halftime, 2 timeouts per half. Use them or lose them. So if you don't use your timeouts in the first half, you don't get them. That's every level of football. Here's scoring. Every score, doesn't matter. Men's, women's, co-rec, they're all 6 points. And then they can go for 1, 2, or 3. A safety is 2 points. How much of the ball has to touch the goal line in order for it to be a touchdown? Any part of the ball has to touch it. You gotta remember, if this is the ball, as long as it breaks the plane, it's a touchdown. If I'm holding the ball and I run stupidly like this, and I drop it, the ball didn't make the goal line, right? I made the goal line, the ball didn't. So on a safety, how much of the ball has to be out of the end zone in order for it not to be a safety? The entire thing. Because if it's touching that goal line, it's a safety. So you gotta remember that. Trying overtime, we'll talk about that later, and here's our mercy rule. Or trying overtime, on a change of possession, if there's, on a try for 1, 2, or 3, if they intercept it, plays dead. If we go to overtime and they intercept it, plays dead. They can't return it for any points. And the mercy rule is 19 on all of them. Last 2 minutes of each half, we have what you call a major clock stopper and a minor clock stopper. What do you think the difference between these two are? As you can look up there and see what starts and stops the clock.
Minor stops, the clock goes balls, reset.
What do you mean reset?
So you hit first down, you stop the clock until you off the ball or reset.
Yep, so you get deflagged inbounds, or there's a penalty when the play ends inbounds. You set the pucks, give the down and distance, and then you wind the clock. The clock will start. Just like you would if you watch on Saturdays, yeah.
So is what you're saying that the clock is running for the last 2 minutes of each half?
It runs until the last 2 minutes, and then at 2 minutes we give the 2-minute warning. And then if we have any of these, we temporarily stop the clock until we set the pucks. If we have any of these, we stop the clock until the ball is snapped. So if you ever watch football on Saturday, so college football, that's essentially what it is. That's the best way I can describe it, because people are like, I don't watch high school football because I could care less about it. Well, on Saturdays, if you watch football, this is how they do it. This always trumps this. So, and we'll talk about this in a station tomorrow or Wednesday, and we'll keep going. So if it's an incomplete pass or out of bounds, we stop it automatically. A touchdown, touchback, that's considered out of bounds, quote unquote out of bounds. It would start on the snap if there's a penalty. Questions? All right, so this is a couple years ago. This is our old fields. This is a championship game. We'd mic'd up. So he's communicating when that clock's going to start. They're all signaling. You see these guys signaling to stop the clock.
No, we don't get a commercial break.
So they just come out of the 2-minute warning. He announces down the distance and that. If it's rolling, he's gonna roll it. Or if it's already rolling, he's gonna hit the ready for play and say the clock's rolling. So you got both of them stopping because it's a change of possession. This was from last year. She just said clock starts on the snap. So you see her, she said starts on the snap. You need to communicate this. As a crew, everybody's going on the snap, or you're looking at each other and say, we're winding this one, we're going on the ready. If they get deflagged before the first down, clock's rolling. Whoever's the back judge will have the clock. 1:35 and rolling. They set the pucks, 1:25 and rolling. Announce it about every 5 to 10 seconds. Do not interrupt your referee when they're doing their down and distance. If they're going first down, 20-yard line again, or second down, 20-yard line again, you're like 35 and rolling. Let them finish their cadence before you say yours. All right, so we already did this. All right, so your neutral zone is 1 yard line, 1 yard wide. What do we consider the neutral zone? I know it's up there. Work with me. Line of scrimmage to what?
1 yard wide.
You got 1 yard. What is it normally in football? What is neutral zone? What's that?
Defensive lines.
The what?
Like offense.
In regular football, it's the football. That's the width of the football. That's the neutral zone. So
I was about to say it's guard to guard.
Yeah.
you're thinking the box, the tackle box. We're not worried about that.
Neutral zone, so like when the ball lands, because you can make an infraction.
We'll talk about, you don't have to throw that out because we'll talk about the neutral zone here in just a minute. So the neutral zone is from the orange cone to the yellow cone, which is about a yard. If anybody enters the neutral zone, by the time the ready for play is hit and the ball is snapped, the play is dead. You don't get the opportunity to jump in the neutral zone as a defense and come on back. That's not legal. That's offsides. That's encroachment. So if they jump and come back, that's illegal. So I know what you're saying. You can jump in normal football and come on back.
I was saying neutral zone is guard to guard, because that's the gap. That's usually what the gaps are, pretty much. It's the gaps between the center and the guard.
So it's basically where the center is. The person who's knocking the ball is the neutral zone of football.
So
Right.
if you see right here, here's an orange puck. Here's the yellow puck. They're a yard apart. They got 1 yard as the neutral zone from one sideline to the other sideline. If anybody goes in that before the ball is snapped, the play's dead. So that's your neutral zone. The only person required to be on the line of scrimmage is the snapper. Everyone else must be set at the same time. If they are not, this is the live ball penalty. So what you have to do is, we talked about motion. Everybody has to come set for a second before you send somebody in motion. They can have one motion player when the ball is snapped. If they have more than one, it's a live ball penalty. We just throw the flag high and we continue officiating. And we'll talk about this. We've got penalty enforcement tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we've spread it out. We'll talk about penalty enforcement throughout the entire time. The snap must be one continuous motion. What are different ways that you can snap the ball? What's one way you can snap the ball? Between the legs. They can sit there and they can snap it between the legs. Anybody else play flag football here? They can sit beside it and throw it up, as long as it's one continuous motion. This is not one continuous motion. That's not. If it's close, if it's like, give it to them. But if they distinctly stand up and then toss it, that's not one continuous motion. The person receiving the snap must be at least 2 yards behind. Roughly a little bit more than that. That's 5'8", they need to be 6 foot, so 4 more inches than that. So if they're not this, now if it's there and here in the second row, I'm giving them this. Somebody decides to go right next to the center and take the ball, that's not legal. You've got to have 2 yards. If they go to do that, QB, you got to be 2 yards back. And if they don't listen, throw the flag and continue officiating, because that infraction happened as the snap happened. So it's a live ball penalty. All players must be 5 yards away from the sideline. I'm not even going to talk about that. See, here's an illegal snap. Same official. He throws a different penalty. So she goes, oop, turns and throws it. That's illegal. Don't worry about the other penalty. He nonchalantly throws it, which is not a good look on this play. Huh? We'll talk about how you throw a flag later on, believe me. You can get some fun with flags, you're just not supposed to throw it at people. Let's see if this one will play. So, Laura here is telling the snapper to go from the orange cone, which he does. That was good preventive officiating. That's what you need to do. So he was trying to go from the yellow puck, or the yellow ball spotter is the way it's called. So if you see it here, he's at the yellow one. It's tough. He's supposed to be at this orange one. So she's just backing him up to the correct spot. It's preventive officiating. If they're going to go screw up, try not to let them screw up. So that's what we need to do. Live ball, dead ball. So the ball becomes live when the ball is snapped and remains live until the down ends. How can a down end?
Ball has to go. Ball has to go.
Ball hits the ground. Flag's pulled. What'd you say? Out of bounds.
Incomplete pass.
Incomplete pass.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. There's a lot of them. So, the one that you may not think of, which you hit on right away, if the ball hits the ground, we do not have fumbles. Because we don't wear pads, we don't let them dive on top of each other. So if the ball hits the ground and it's not a punt, it is dead. We'll talk about a punt later. But if it hits the ground on a normal play, so I go to backwards pitch it, and it hits the ground, it is dead. The snapper sucks and short hops somebody. It is dead right then and there. So, yeah.
It's a bit creative, but what if someone tries to bounce the ball off the ground on a screen behind the line of scrimmage? If the ball touches...
Ball's dead. Hits the ground. Hits the ground.
Okay.
Don't think about the line of scrimmage. The ball hits the ground. It is dead immediately. On a punt is different, and we'll talk about that either later today or tomorrow.
Dead where the ball is.
It's dead where the ball hits the ground.
Well, okay, then you spot the ball where the person is, or the ball.
Where the ball hits the ground is where you spot it.
So if somebody throws the ball forward,
Then that's an incomplete pass.
will they pass the line of scrimmage? Like you said, there's no fumbles, so like if that happens,
If they do that, then you have an illegal forward pass. We enforce the penalty from the spot of the foul. We'll talk about that one later today and into tomorrow. But if they go to backward, think of backwards pitch on this. They go to backwards pitch and I throw it like this and it lands back there. Even though I'm here, I screwed up and I put the ball there.
If you catch it and then fumble it, it goes where the ball. Okay.
So if I complete the catch, land, take 2 steps, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to shift it to one arm and the other, and I fumble it, it goes to where the fumble happened.
Even
So.
if it like launches, like if it gets like popped out somehow and like launches forward.
You
sorry.
are all going a little bit deeper than I. If somebody hits the ball out of your hand, it is now illegal contact because in flag football, they cannot take the ball out of your hand. They can't strip it, and if they do, it's illegal contact. So if they hit it out of your hand and it shoots forward, I'm giving you that yardage plus 10 more for illegal contact, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. So you can't strip the ball. You cannot strip the ball in flag football. So that's why they say we try to teach them or try to tell them to run like this with the football out. A, you get about another yard, and B, they can't touch that football. You don't tuck it and try to do that because they're supposed to go for the flags. So now if I'm holding out here and somebody slaps my arm, it's a penalty on them because they're doing something illegal. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. The ball becomes dead when the official blows his or whistle. The ball is declared dead. All due to the course of play, the flag's removed, incomplete pass. Now you got to remember, your whistle doesn't necessarily end the play. The player going to the ground who's down. They fumble the ball. The ball hits the ground. That's all when the play ends. You may be a second or two late with your whistle. That's fine. I'd rather you be a second or two late with the whistle than a second or two early and then you call an inadvertent. And I think I got an inadvertent coming up here. We touched on all of those. The play ends with a lot of things. So you've already hit most of those. All the big ones, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right. So here's another play. Play becomes live when they snap it, so it's live now, and it becomes dead there. Why do you think this is important to know that difference? When the ball's live and the ball's dead.
Different types of penalties.
What types of penalties?
Live ball.
Live ball versus dead ball? Live ball penalties are enforced different than dead ball. If something happens during the dead ball, what usually happens during a dead ball after the snap? So the dead ball when the pass comes incomplete. Unsportsmanlike conduct, dead ball, personal fouls. If anything happens before the snap, that's going to be your false starts, your encroachments, your offsides. Those are all going to happen before the snap happens. The ball becomes live. So there's 2 different parts of that, and we'll cover all that a lot more. But I just want to introduce it right now. So it becomes live now. He runs. They get his flags. It ends when the flag clip is broken, shortly followed by a whistle. So remember, the player is down when the clip breaks. So if I'm running and that clip breaks and it hangs on my hips a little bit, and I run 3 or 4 or 5 more yards and then it falls off, where do you think I was downed? Right here is where, because this is where the clip physically broke. And we'll show you this as we go throughout the week. Just because it hangs on my hips a little bit longer doesn't mean I get the extra yardage. So as you're officiating, you're like, all right, I saw somebody swipe down. So they go to right down the back or the side. And that player continues running, and all of a sudden they fall off 4 steps later. Boop, you're going to go back here. You're going to spot the ball right here. Because that action broke the clip. You're not always going to see that. You're not always going to see that, hey, I saw the swipe. All right, the clip broke. This is 3 or 4 more yards they didn't legally gain. So I'm going to go put it back here. And that's why you should have a patient whistle. So here's another one. The ball is live. And when I talk about crappy snaps, this is what it is. This is one of our former PAs. She snaps it here. Ball hits the ground right there. That's tough. Now what becomes even tougher is when you back them up to like the goal line and then they throw it in the end zone. It becomes a safety because the ball hit the ground. So if they have somebody who sucks at snapping the ball, probably should get rid of them. Probably put them on the other end of the line. So as you can see, the ball becomes live here. He stunk at trying to catch the ball. It is dead right there. And you can see both officials come up and mark it right here. So he kills the play. As you can see, this is what we don't want. We don't want them to go diving on the ground. You're not wearing helmets. You're not wearing pads. You go diving on the ground, that creates a lot of unnecessary contact that we don't need. Huh? Yeah. So Greek teams have their own jerseys, which they're allowed to wear. So if they have their own jerseys, the shirt requirement's out the door. I forgot to mention that one earlier. But every other uniform requirement still stands. Running the ball, a runner is in possession of the ball. Pretty simple. If I've got the ball, I'm a runner. As long as I have at least a foot on the ground and I'm starting to go. What I can't do is start stiff-arming people as I go by them. If he goes to grab my flag and I swatted his hand like that and I make contact, that's flag guarding. I go running by him, you go to pull my flag and I go down like this and protect that flag and he hits my arm, that's flag guarding. I put my hand in the face and shove you to the ground, that's probably unsportsmanlike conduct, but we're going to go with flag guarding. So we can't do that. So that's why I said you should run like this. So if you're playing, it looks like you look stupid, that's all right. Run like this. You know why? Somebody hits that ball and it pops out, you're getting 10 more from right there. So the runner is in possession of the ball. They cannot stiff arm. If they do make contact with somebody who's trying to pull a flag, it's flag guarding 10 yards from that spot. And we'll talk about that in more detail as we get into penalty enforcement. The ball may be handed in any direction. So if I'm running down the field and I'm not so fast and I hand it off, somebody can take that, I can hand it forward and they can go forward with it. I can hand it off to the side and let somebody take it to the side. Or I can go backwards. So it's a common misconception because flag football is the only one where you can hand it forward. If the ball strikes the ground, it is dead where the ball hits the ground and belongs to whoever fumbled it. So if I fumble the ball and it's not on a catch, it's dead right then and there. If I fumble it into the end zone, what is it? If it's my own end zone, it's a safety. If I'm going to the opponent's end zone, I'm running, I'm getting ready to celebrate, and I drop that ball into the end zone. Touchback. Go to the 14. Yeah, they go to the X. So if I'm at my 3-yard line and I fumble it in my own end zone, it's a safety. It's 2 points for the other team. If I'm getting ready to go to score a touchdown and I drop the ball and it hits their end zone, they get the ball. So that's why knowing where that ball hits is critical. If it hits just short and bounces in, it's short. So here's a run play. He doesn't throw it. It's a pretty good run play. Snap, nothing there. He is a quarterback, but it's still considered a run play. Passing. A team is permitted 1 forward pass per down, provided it's behind the line of scrimmage. Once the ball is thrown, it is considered a pass until it's caught or incomplete. What's the definition of a catch?
Possession.
2 steps.
Possession with 1 foot down, not 2 steps. So if I catch it and I go to the ground, I hit the ground because I dove for it and it pops out, I didn't maintain possession. So you've got to maintain possession and you've got to have at least 1 foot on the ground inbounds. So if I land with I catch it, I land with this foot out of bounds and this foot inbounds, the first one was out, it's out of bounds. If I land with this one in first, then this one, it's considered a catch. So think college rules on this. So when you're thinking, is it a catch or no catch? Think where that first foot hit. Any player is eligible to catch a pass, except for a player who intentionally goes out of bounds. So if I'm along the sidelines where I run to the back of the end zone and I realize, I'm like, hey, I'm open, and right here's my back line, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm out of play. And I come back in, I am not eligible to catch that pass.
Do you do like the forced out of bounds rule?
If there's forced out of bounds, there's going to be contact. This is a non-contact sport. So if they're forced out, you throw the flag for illegal contact, or if the ball's in the air, you throw it for pass interference, if it's going to that player. But yeah, so if they're pushed out, automatic flag, it's going to be contact. Yeah, you can pitch the ball. So you can hand or pitch the ball. You can pitch the ball backwards as many times as you want. If you are playing in a team, I highly recommend pitches. You know why? Because if it hits the ground, the ball's dead anyway. Short of you throwing a backwards pitch that's caught by the other team, then they're going to get possession. But as long as you pitch backwards, it hits the ground, it's dead. It's not like any other football. A team may throw as many backwards pitches as they can, or as they would like. One of the common misconceptions that we have, if I run through the line of scrimmage, realize I'm going to get deflagged, and I throw the ball back to my running back, who's behind the line of scrimmage, can they throw the ball forward?
No, because you already run past the line of scrimmage.
Can they throw the ball forward?
I'm sorry?
Wait, yes.
Yes, they can. In flag football, you're permitted 1 forward pass, provided it's behind the line of scrimmage, and there hasn't been any forward pass. So if I run and I'm like, oh crap, here it comes, and I pitch it backwards, you can throw that ball forward.
So the ball can pass the line of scrimmage, and then they can throw it back behind the line of scrimmage, and then pass.
It's one of the exceptions in flag football that's allowed. Yeah, exactly, essentially. So they'll be like, run play, and you're like, you pitch backwards and throw it deep. It's legal.
What play action?
Yeah. Put that in your repertoire if you have a team. If you don't have a team, sign up a team tonight. All right, so here's a play that has a pass in it. Legal snap, ball's thrown forward.
First down.
Now I want to show you something on this officiating part of it. So, he's on the line. Here's the first down. He watches the first couple seconds right here. He watches any contact right here. Ball's thrown forward. He's watching the play. He lets this guy go by on the line. He's like, he's much quicker than me. He's got the line to gain. If he starts shuffling downfield, what do you think's going to happen if he keeps going downfield? He's going to get hit. His job is to stay on this line to roll for in or out of bounds. So if you've ever watched them on TV, they let that play go. Because what's the difference between, he's already got the first down, so he's already made this line. What's the difference between this and this? Not a whole heck of a lot, right? I don't care if you spot it here or here, it's not a big difference. If he was threatening this first down line, he gets off the line to see if that first down is made. But he knows it's already been made. He's like, I'm going to stop and let them go. Because I can always come up and be like, it was roughly here. You have 20 yards for a first down. The difference between this and this isn't a big deal. Not in flag football. This and a touchdown is a big deal. You need to be on that line. So there's a difference, and that's a good piece of officiating by this official. It's Jackson Fuller. He actually writes for the Star News right now. So he comes up, he lets the play clear and lets him go, and he's like, all right, I got this. We already talked about what makes a legal catch. If the pass falls incomplete, it's snapped from the puck, from the previous puck. If going to the ground, must complete the catch all the way through. So we'll watch a video. So here's a pass play. So I can't remember if there's another part of this one. I think there is. Let's see if I got another angle. Right here. See the catch? In his hands, possession, foot down. The ball touches the ground, but he controls it all the way through. So it's just like the NFL, just like college. If I catch it and it hits the ground, but I maintain possession, it doesn't pop out or I don't lose it, I don't bobble it, it's a catch. This is tough to see, especially if you have never called football or played football. You've got to watch that. So he gets a foot down and gets possession.
That was ruled a catch.
It was ruled a catch. This was ruled a catch. But if you see, he's fumbling.
This was not ruled not a catch.
This is ruled not a catch?
Now it would be.
It should have been a catch.
So this is one of the reasons they changed the rule, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the reason they changed the rule.
So, yeah, see, he ruled it a catch because he put him down, right?
It was they challenged.
Oh, they challenged this one?
Catch.
Gotcha. So, yeah, he gets possession, gets his foot down, maintains the possession, and then he goes to the ground. Any part of the body that's not the feet, as long as you get one part of it down, it's considered a catch. So this one, he gets his butt down or his back down in this. A hand is not considered that. So he lands on his back, inbounds, that's fine. If this is where it becomes hairy. If this is my line, and I land with this foot down, and then I step down, I'm out of bounds because my foot hasn't left the ground. If I tap this foot and then step out, my first foot was down. So you just got to remember that. You won't see it. I just want to throw that out there to say I talked about it. Screen blocking. So, when people rush, they're going to cross each other. What you can't do as an offensive player to try to screen to block for your quarterback, you can't come outside your body. You can't come out here and push away. You can't go jump into them or as they go around, put a knee or an elbow out. Think of a block charge in basketball. And I'm going to play the video here in just a minute. When they go to screen block, you can either put your hands behind your back, in front of you, however you want, or keep them down. A lot of people will get low and be like this. As long as they don't extend out of here, they're fine. But as soon as they start getting beat and they go like this is going to be in the offense because I initiated the contact. Stand up for me. So if you come right here. So if I'm the defensive player and you're the offensive player, and I got to go around you and you slide right here, and I hit him here and I push him over, it's on me. He beat me to the spot. If I go to go around him and I'm here, he slides, and I get pushed, it's on him. So if it's going to be on the defense, it's pretty much going to be bowled over. So one's going to be on top of the other. Or I'm going to hit him, he's going to go flying, and I'm going to continue on my path. But if he slides in front of me, we're going to fall apart. So if you're like, that was a crash, I'm not sure who it was on. If they're pretty much on top of each other, it's going to be on the defense. If they're pretty much apart, it's going to be on the offense. If I try to swim around him, that's illegal. I can't do a swim move. Stand up for me. If they're standing side a little bit closer, if they're standing side by side and I try to split this and I push them apart, that's on me. Stand a little bit further apart. If I get to here and then they close in on me, it's on them. Because I've already broken through this and they're impeding me. Thank you. So remember that on screen blocking. And there should be a video here, provided I play it right. It's really soft. I'm sorry, it's quiet. That must be on the video. Hang on here, let me see if I can. Oh, it's all the way up. Never mind, I lied. So try to listen as closely as you can. So you can see here, this one, I'm trying to, this is a little extreme, and they're trying to show it that way. As you can see, that's more common right there. Most of this was scripted. As you can see, this guy's gonna just bowl somebody over. That one you actually will see. I'm not gonna lie, that one you'll actually see. This is all scripted for flag football in the video they made. You'll see a lot of this. You'll see a little bit of this, where the dude took two hands and shoved him to the ground. You're probably not going to see much of that. All right, so here's some screen blocking. Fairly legal right there. So as you can see here, he's going to start off maybe a little bit on green. There ain't much there. There's going to be some contact, but you've got to judge, is it legal or illegal contact? In that case, I think it's legal.
It shows that we're actually making a call and not just going, oh, yeah.
It's our old coordinator. So the play happens right here.
And it shows that we're actually...
So it's going to be right here with these guys. He tries to split them. He pushes back a little bit. But there's not much contact. If he splits them, yeah, we're going to have that. But he doesn't split them. So it's not really any penalty right there. Questions about screen blocking? I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you in a short amount of time.
Limited amount of people that,
Nope. Anybody can block. Anybody can go for receptions. So
what's the most common?
anywhere between 2 and 4. So usually they'll rush 1 or 2 and they'll have 2 or 3 people on the line to block. So it all depends. If they get close to the goal line and they want to run the ball, more people block. So, or if I put 3 people or 4 people up to rush, they usually bring them in. But you remember, it's 7 on 7. So if I have 4 here and you have 3 receivers, I have to get a quick out to somebody. Punts. So if some team wants to punt and it's 4th down and they've got a long way to go, you say, do you want to punt or play? Meaning, do you want to punt or do you want to try to get for the 1st down? If they say, we want to play, all right, 4th down, they elect to play or they elect to go for it. That means they can't punt the ball. If they say, we want to punt, okay, 4th down, they're going to punt. You give this little signal right here, the other team backs up because they cannot rush the punter. They can't try to block it behind the line of scrimmage. They can block a punt if I'm stupid enough to catch the ball, go up to the line of scrimmage, somebody's tall enough to stand on the other side of the line and block the punt. But if I stand 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards behind my line of scrimmage and I punt it, nobody can rush me. Nobody can cross the line of scrimmage or that neutral zone until the ball is kicked. So if the offensive team crosses the neutral zone before the ball is kicked, it's a 5-yard penalty. But we keep the play alive. We don't blow that one dead. The punt must be in a continuous motion. This is because what we don't want is you to stop, change the direction, and do whatever. It's catch and go whatever direction you want. If they want to rugby style it, as long as they're going out here and they kick it, that's fine. And no fair catches. You can't go there and go fair catch, because if that's the case, you catch it and go to a knee. There are no fair catches. All right. Neither team may advance. Neither team may advance beyond the line of scrimmage until it's kicked. The receiving team, as I said, can still block it, provided I go up to kick it at the line of scrimmage. They have somebody tall enough to block it. Other than that, they can't break that line of scrimmage. Any player on the receiving team can advance or catch and advance the punt. So there's not a limit to that. And once the ball crosses the goal line, it is dead and brought to the 14. So if I'm punting from the 40 and the ball crosses my goal line's here and I'm getting ready to catch it, as soon as it breaks that plane, it's dead. I can't return it out. But if I'm on the 1, I catch it, it's fair game. Yeah.
So I assume you can't do any fake punts?
No fake punts. Don't try it. It's not legal. But once it crosses either on a bounce or in the air or on the roll, it is dead. If a punt hits the ground before it touches any player, they can pick it up and they can run. This is the only time the ball can hit the ground. So if I punt it and I get a good kickoff and it hits and keeps going until it's dead, either when I touch it and it hits the ground, so I muff it, or it just becomes duress. But I can pick the ball off the ground and I can run with it. I can pick it, I can field it off a hop, and I can run with it. So it is not dead once it hits the ground on a punt. If I go to catch it, it hits me and I drop it, it's dead right there because I touched it. If I go to try to catch it, I bobble, and then it hits, same thing. Yeah.
So if on a punt, if the receiving in the field, they end up muffing the ball, not catching the ball, and then someone running down the field after they catch it is able to get a hold of it before the ball hits the ground, that is a turnover.
It would be a turnover. If they actually do that, I'd be impressed. I have, in flag football, because people suck at punting and people suck at catching. So,
That's fair.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
it won't happen. You won't see. If it happens, 42 slides to get through in about 25 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to do it. A lot of it's words. A lot of it I'm not going to show you because it's all words. So, I'm going to show you what a live ball penalty is. So if you're like, live ball, dead ball, we're going to go over it. We already talked a little bit about flag guarding. Flag guarding is any action of stiff arm, lowering the shoulder. Contact has to be made. So, it's protecting your flag. If you don't have a flag belt on, guess what? You can't have flag guarding. So if I go to stiff arm you, and I push him away, I'm down. I'm going to call him down right then and here. Because he touched from here to here with a bar to his body. It may have been I touched him, but I'm going to put you down. Like I said, contact is required. Here's flag guarding. Forget where it happens, I'm going to show you. Right there at the end, you see the flag. So hopefully this will play again. So he signaled touchdown because the kid scored. He had his flag belts on as he crossed the line. That's a touchdown. However, right there, he puts his arm down. It's subtle. Put his arm down, block the flag. This penalty is enforced from the spot of the foul. And we'll talk more about enforcements tomorrow. But I want you to see that that's a penalty and you need to throw a flag. So, clearly, this is one of our better referees we had last year. He threw the flag. This dude does it like 4 times. He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, flag guarding. Gets away. Flag guarding. And again, he does it 3 times in a play. There should have been 3 flags on this field. We will enforce this one that's way back here because it hurts them the most. So you throw all 3 flags, you come out. Flag guarding on the offense. Flag guarding on the flag guarding the offense, penalty decline. Flag guarding the offense, penalty decline. Flag guarding because he's really bad at flag football on the offense. 10 yards from that spot. I got my boy again. Actually, he turns it over here. So you see this play. So we have an interception. If the flags are pulled at the same time as the infraction, or a similar time that the infraction happens, like it does here, flag guard flags come off. Let it go. He didn't gain an advantage. If he or she does not gain an advantage, you let it go. Do not penalize them. So if I get a flag guard and the flags are pulled, no flag guard. All right, illegal contact. Contact that's not legal. So it gives a player an advantage, pushing a player over the line of scrimmage, contact without the ball. Those are all illegal contact. So basically, if I hold the ball out and you contact my arm, illegal contact. I'll show you what it is. Look at the red player. This will play again. Watch this player right here. My man with the gloves. He false starts too. Shoving a player out, that's illegal contact. I need to get a new one of these things. So he shoves the player out. It's illegal contact. Another illegal contact on the line of scrimmage. Maybe not quite on the line of scrimmage. Again, I got the referee mic on this and he's laughing about it. So watch my big guy. He's like, "Dude, I'm open. I got this." I think he flag guards there, but that's all right. We're not calling that one. Oh God. Oh God. You got the defensive player like, all right, I got him. You can't run that kid over. It's illegal contact. So if I come through and push you down or run into you, that's illegal contact. This is a textbook definition of illegal contact. If you see that, you got to call it. This one I hope it happens on the line. All right, so watch this player right here. She comes in and bowls into that player. Player went from here to here. That's not legal. She comes in, they hit, and they don't move much. I ain't throwing a flag on that. But as you watch this play, She comes in, it's like, I'm getting through you. What she's going to say was, my arms are behind my back. You displaced a player. You can't do that. That's illegal.
Something prior.
What's that?
Something before that happened.
So would the rule be even contact here? What would the rule be? So clearly the offense can go and displace a player, offensive line can.
No, they can't.
No?
No.
Then is the rule even contact? Is the rule that...
There's going to be minimal contact. If there's clear displacement, then you've got to throw a flag. Because we're going to go by each other and there's going to be contact. But if I don't gain an advantage, I'm not going to throw that flag, right? It's called illegal contact because the contact is not legal. So in this case, this girl right here hits her and pushes her back. That's illegal.
It's literally the block charge and
Yeah, exactly, it's a block charge. Do you not see how, right here, she comes in. Trust me, if you don't have a flag on this, I'm going to take the flag out of your pocket and I'm going to throw it. Because that's a penalty. All right, offensive pass interference. What are some requirements for offensive pass interference? What?
Switch off.
What are requirements, not what are examples? What are requirements for pass interference? What has to happen? Huh?
Contact.
It has to be a
Contact has to occur.
ball in the air.
Ball has to be in the air. No, not an offensive pass interference. Offensive pass interference when those restrictions start.
After it starts 5 yards before
Nope.
the end.
Ball, it starts as soon as the ball is snapped. So restrictions start at the time of the snap until the ball is touched or caught by a player. It occurs on the offensive team. So as soon as the ball is snapped, I go and I shove you down, and then I'm like, I'm open, and the ball goes way over there. Still offensive pass interference because there was a pass, and it happened before that. It happened after the snap, and it happened on the offensive team. For defensive pass interference, what are restrictions? Has to be contact. I'll give you that one. Ball has to be in the air. If it happens for the ball's in the air, then it's just illegal contact. What else? I think that might be it. Start when the ball's in the air. If contact happens with the ball in the air, the penalty's illegal contact. It's got to be on the defensive team. If I push you over on the defense and the ball's in the air to some other receiver, it's not going towards you, it's illegal contact. The enforcement is no different. There's no difference as long as the ball's in the air. So if you call pass interference and you call illegal contact on the defense, it's 10 yards, replay the down. Pass interference is 10 yards, replay the down. There's no loss of down, there's no automatic first down on these. It is not like you would see that in football, or like in Saturday, Sunday football. So this happens over here. This is watch the blue player. Blue's on offense, right? Ball's in the air, ball's underthrown. Offense player settles in front of it. He two hands to the back of the kid. You throw that flag, pass interference in the offense, 10 yards, replay the down. All right, roughing the passer. What are some of the requirements for roughing the passer? Ball has to be thrown. Has to have contact. If the ball is in the quarterback's hand and they hit the ball, is that considered roughing the passer?
Illegal contact.
No.
Let me rephrase that. Ball's in the hand of the quarterback, is it considered roughing the passer? I don't change your answer to what you just said.
Yes.
Yes. So in flag football, if that ball is still in the hand, it's roughing the passer. That carries an automatic first down. So think about it this way. In flag football, you're supposed to be going down for the flags, right? I shouldn't be up here. Now, you may be up here and they may tip it after it's released. That means nothing. But if they tip it after it's released and they run into any part of that quarterback, it's roughing the passer. So I could be like this. I could release it, and then you hit my arm, you're throwing roughing the passer. Because they are not allowed to contact that passer. We used to play music out here, we no longer do. The line judge shouldn't throw it. She knows better. So you can see this is clear cut roughing the passer. He goes to throw it, he went at the arm. It's 10 yards, automatic first down. If they catch that, we will tack that on that play. We'll talk about enforcement, how you enforce it tomorrow. Holdings, pretty standard. You grab an opponent and you pull them down. If we stand up one more time. Turn around. If he's running away from me, and I go to pull his flags, and I happen to go down, grab and go down his shirt and grab the flags, and I pull the flag off, I'm not calling anything. If he goes to run away, and you see this right here, I don't want to stretch your shirt too much. You see this right here, and it pops real quickly, I ain't calling holding. If you see this, and then I yank him backwards, you see the hitch and the giddy up right there, so he hitches, and he can't go, I'm throwing the flag. If I grab with this hand and pull with this hand, I'm calling holding. Thank you. So, just remember that. If I go to swipe and I just miss, or I rake down the back or the side, that's not holding. If you see a little bit of a boop and nothing happens, I'm not doing anything. But if I grab with one hand and try to pull, that's holding. If I grab a fistful of the jersey and I miss, and you see him or her go like this, that's holding. Fair to wear proper equipment, I'm not too worried about because we don't require flag belts anymore, and not tucking your shirt in. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to show you holding. He's so fast causing wind. You see the shirt? It'll play again. He tries to go through. Watch his shirt and his shorts. Right about coming up right here. It's tough to see. You see the shorts get extended? Flags didn't come off, you just drop that flag for holding because they slowed him down. Now you could argue that he hit the player shortly thereafter, but you can't make that judgment, so you've got to call holding with that coming out. And this is seen primarily by your line judge, your field judge, and we'll talk about positioning here in just a minute. So he drags him down, that's holding. Or illegal contact, either one, that's fine. Illegal, yeah.
So when they have like their own jerseys, they have to wear a t-shirt underneath?
No, if they have their own jersey, they don't need it. The requirements for t-shirts are off. Illegal forward pass. What constitutes an illegal forward pass?
Any pass beyond the line of scrimmage or a second forward pass from behind?
Any pass, what kind of pass beyond the line of scrimmage?
Forward.
Any legal or any illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. So if I go beyond the line of scrimmage and I pitch it forward, even if it's accidentally, it's a legal forward pass. I throw a completed forward pass and you turn around to throw another one, that's an illegal forward pass. So any second forward pass or any forward pass beyond line of scrimmage. Now, we said backwards pitches are legal, right? So if I throw it backwards and I run at a high rate of speed and I throw it kind of backwards, kind of sideways, that ball is released right here and it travels and it's caught right here. Is that a backwards pitch or is that an illegal forward pass? Let me rephrase that again. I go to pitch it backwards and I go like this and the ball travels forward because of my momentum. Have you ever thrown anything out of a car and it travels forward, right? You're doing 60 mile an hour, you throw your trash out of the car. You shouldn't because it's littering and it's a $500 fine. But if you happen to do that, that trash is going to go forward, right? It's just like if they can actually get at a high rate of speed and I throw it backwards and sideways. You got to read the hand. This is a backwards pitch. It may travel, but my initial direction was backwards. If I go like this, that's forwards because I released it this way. Backwards, they're usually going back. They're usually giving it like this. Forward, they're going this way. So you've got to read it. It may happen that way. So you just got to remember that. Illegal male advancement, having a male run the ball through the line of scrimmage on a closed play that is geared towards a woman. All right, I think this one is an illegal forward pass. He said away, right? You just let him go because you know why? It's an illegal forward pass. My bad. So our quarterback, if it's close to back or away, he said away, which you should do the same thing. And he throws another forward pass. Our referee was pretty good here. He probably dropped the flag. Illegal forward pass on the offense, 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, lost it down, and away we roll. Illegal male advancement. I need to get my PowerPoints up to date here. Play is closed. She hands it off, or backwards pitch. He runs through the line. That's illegal male advancement. You will see that play a lot. So, that was a bad play. All right, I got a little less than 10 minutes. I'm gonna make sure I get you all out of here on time, or relatively close. I got 9 minutes. Yep, close plays have to have a forward pass. That was backwards pitch. All right, I'm going to give you the starting positions of the four positions that we have and some of the keys that they're looking for. There's a lot of words on a lot of slides. I am not going through the words. I'm going to talk you through them. So we have 4 basic positions: the referee, the line judge, field judge, back judge. The referee, the initial starting position is 7 and 7. 7 yards behind the quarterback, one direction, 7 yards in. So you go from the deepest back, 7 yards here, 7 yards here. And you try to maintain that. Some of the pre-snap responsibilities are counting your 7 players and watching for any motion and make sure everybody gets set. As your pre-snap responsibilities. And announcing balls away when the ball is thrown. If the quarterback rolls, quarterback goes this way, you roll with the quarterback. Quarterback rolls this way. As they call it opening the gate. You let that person go, and you officiate this way. They come back, you let them go. So if they come this way, you roll and let them go. You shouldn't be on this sideline. If the play ever comes this way, you've got to let them pass. And your field judge will be on that line. Make sure the quarterback's at least 2 yards back. At the snap, ensure nobody's moving. We'll talk about all that. And you watch the first initial rush. So as they come across that line, you're watching the people that are on the line right there rushing. You're not worried about the receivers. Line judge, pretty simple. You're on the line of scrimmage. That's why you're called the line judge. Your pre-snap responsibilities are making sure there are 7 or 8 people here. You confirm that with the referee. I got 7. I got 8. If there's too many, we'll have a different penalty. You're also making sure this quarterback's at least 2 yards back. The quarterback rolls, you let them go because your responsibility is here. After the ball is snapped, you shuffle 2 to 3 yards down the field once that initial rush goes by. So the players pass each other, there's no contact, you're good. You now come and you watch this part of the field after the snap. We'll cover a lot more of this tomorrow, what you do to end the play. You take any spots from the field judge, back judge, or the referee. You're also, some of your pre-snap responsibility. If anybody jumps into that neutral zone, you blow it dead immediately. Offsides on the defense, or encroachment on the defense, offside on the offense. So if the offensive player is lined up in the neutral zone between the 2 pucks, you've got to get their attention. Offensive near receiver, offensive far receiver, the center, whoever it is, you need to take a couple steps back. If they don't, then you blow that play dead as soon as it's snapped because they're offsides. If the defense jumps in there, trying to cause a reaction from the offensive player, if they go in the neutral zone, it's on the defense. If they jump and they don't get the neutral zone and the offensive player still jumps, it's now on the offense, and we'll talk about some of that tomorrow. Field judge, you're 10 to 12 yards down the field. On 3rd and 4th down, you're on the line to gain. So if the line to gain's a 20, you're on that line on 3rd and 4th down, regardless of how far it is. Your responsibilities are pretty much watching these players as they come down the field and counting all of these players pre-snap. And you confirm that with the back judge. I got 7. You do not have anything about false starts, encroachments. That's not you. That's solely this person for encroachments, these 2 people for false starts. You're watching everything back here. As the play goes, you slide down the field at the snap, and you watch your matchups here, and you've got this sideline. The line judge will have that sideline. And the back judge is opposite the referee. So you can see these 2 players have the outside in look. These 2 people have the inside out look. So you're opposite the referee. Typically start here. If the puck is on this hash, you're a little bit further this way. If it's on this hash, you're a little bit further this way. You start between 15 to 17 yards downfield, or as far back as the deepest back. If you are here, you're wrong. If you hear me tell you to get into New Hanover County, that means you're way too deep. So I'll be like, hey, you need to if I tell you to get back into the state of North Carolina, you're way too deep. So the first step that you normally take is this way. If the play goes, you open up and run. You're like a windshield wiper here. That play goes, you're watching whoever's going deepest. If they're staying short, you kind of watch the play. But if they go deep, you go with them. And you confirm the number of players with the field judge. Questions? That's just initial starting positions. Yes, sir.
Do we rotate positions?
I will assign positions and you will rotate throughout the night. So you may start at one position, but you'll move to the next one. You don't do it mid-game. You don't be like, hey, I really want to be referee the first quarter. The second quarter, I want to be the line judge. No. You start the game there, you end the game there unless something tragic happens and I move you. And I say I or Danny or the PAs or the GA move you. But you will work throughout the entire, I'm going to try to work everybody the entire positions. But if there's one you're not comfortable with, I'm probably not going to put you there. All right, if you're not on payroll, I need you to hang out here for